All right, and we're back. So we've cleaned up this image. I went through and removed more of some issues that I thought were there. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. If I turn off this layer for frequency separation, you can see we've done quite a bit of work. There's on and then there's off. If we zoom into this particular area, I had quite a bit of issues to deal with. And I was able to remove them without it being too obvious. So actually, you know what? Probably one more little spot right there. You're always going to see more issues. So you can see that's kind of on a different layer. It won't remove it. And some of these red spots, we're unable to take care of them in frequency separation. So the way we do that is, well, we do some facial blending. Let me just take care of a few more there. There we go. And you can see the darker contrasty areas. These are red. They don't quite match the skin, so they draw the eye's attention. We took care of some of the shadow on the glasses, but we couldn't get all of it, as you can see. We cleaned up a lot of that with frequency separation, but the stuff we couldn't get was because it was on a different layer. This is a color issue, not a texture issue. So you could be as detailed as you want to be with this, and remove every little thing. But that's not really natural, and it's your discretion. What you think is necessary to remove. You can remove everything if you like, but what we're going to do now is we're going to do some facial blending. So let's zoom out here. We're going to go to the facial blending. We're going to choose a brush. You can hit B or you can go into the brush tool. And we choose a brush that's, pretty standard. I like this brush in particular. And don't worry too much about the size, but in the hardness you want it at 0. And you can click to get rid of that, and then you can make the brush bigger or smaller with the left and right, left bracket, right bracket. And what we're going to do now is we're going to zoom in on the face, and we're going to take care of some of these obvious issues, like on the nose here. Some of these, we're just going to blend them slightly so that they're not so obvious. And I'll show you how to do blending. So we take the flow down to 2% up there at the top. And let's zoom in here and start at the top. So you can see we have some sort of a purplish, bluish reflection from the sky contrasting with the yellowish in the shadow area there. So we can definitely blend that in. So what we want to do is sample an area and then paint into the area. So it doesn't look like much, but you're actually blending it together nicely. So you sample often. So sample this area here, and then blend. And then sample on this side and blend. And sample here and blend. And it's so minute that you won't even be able to really tell until you're done. What have you done? But actually it works quite nicely at getting rid of the contrast is what you're seeing. So you have a contrast of colors. You have a light color here and a dark color here. And we can't really take care of that on the frequency separation high frequency layer where the texture is, because it's a color issue. So we do that with the facial blending. And there's many different ways to do this. You can reduce the opacity of your brush or increase the intensity of the flow, but I generally stick around 2%. And you can also change the blend of how it comes through, but I leave it at normal because we're already underneath the texture layer and we're just working with the color, so it's not so difficult to blend. Some of the issues I had when changing the blend layers on this, I wasn't able to get the result that I wanted, and so I finally figured out that it was just on a normal layer. I'm able to handle it. So let's zoom out a little bit and let's take a look at what we've done here so far. Let's turn that off and on. Not bad. We're not ruining the look or anything like that. I'll actually zoom out just a little bit and make this a little bit bigger, and we could do it sort of globally here. So let's see what we can amass. And the more you go over it, the more the flow picks up. So the flow is sensitivity. So we can blend that in there. And you can see we're really just kind of making the transition a little bit smoother. We're not doing too much to it here. And maybe right there. And I think I'm just about okay with that. Okay. And then it's in this area here, you see she's got a little bit of a skin rise, and we can easily get rid of that. Not get rid of it, but blend it away and make the transition smoother. And you can really dial in, like on that spot right there. You can make your brush smaller, and the correction is so smooth that it's almost like you didn't even do it. And you're just decreasing that contrast in there. Sampling often, because you want to get the nearby colors. So you don't want to sample like from an area over here and then paint over here. It's not going to look right. You want to get from the area and paint over it. And you can spend as much time on this. I typically spend about maybe 10 minutes on this, because it's not that difficult. If we zoom out, we can do it more globally. Not globally, but more localized. Not all the way in on the finer detail of it. We have a little bit of a transition with the red and the white here. So let's get rid of that. And then this transition's okay. Maybe I can smooth that out. So let's sample this area and just sort of paint over that white spot there. And just sort of smooth that out. So let's take a look. Oh yeah, much better. Alright, let's get in here and do these little areas. And it doesn't have to be a lot. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're just tidying up a little bit. So we got a nice dark area here. We can lighten up a little bit. And then right in here, we can take care of that. And you can see if we go in closer, we got like a little issue right here that we can take care of on the nose. And let's sample in that area, and then sample from the white, and just sort of blend that harsher shadow away. Not getting rid of it, but we're just going to blend the transition, make the transition smoother. Okay, a little bit dark here. That's all right. I would probably go from this side and take a look, and then go from this side. See if I can't. There we go. And it's so minute, you can barely tell that it's happening. Same thing in here, underneath the eye bags. You can't really see it because she's got the glasses, but you can see that harsh shadow. And you can see some crow's feet here. Two ways to handle the crow's feet. I'll show you what it looks like on frequency separation with the healing brush tool. You don't want it to look obvious, so you don't want to, grab the area below it and then just wipe it away, because that's not natural. So you can do that and then hit Shift Command F to fade it, and then make them lighter. So there it is full, and if you start to draw this up, you can get to about 50%. And what we've done is we've decreased it. So if we look, you see that? And you do the same thing again with the same area. Right to there like that, and then Shift Command F and take it to 50. And look at that. Magical. And probably with this we would sample from here and just touch that right up. Shift Command F, 50, and voila. Natural. All right, so let's go back to the facial blending, back to the brush tool, and let's blend in this shadow to make it not so harsh. So let's sample from this area and start painting a little bit, and then sample from this area and start painting a little bit. Sample from here and paint a little bit. You can actually make the brush a little bit bigger, honestly. And very lightly. And we are just blending this away. Too easy. Not rocket science. And now, oh yeah. And we're not ruining the texture. You see, the texture still stays there. We're just touching up lightly. One stroke. One stroke. One stroke. All right, let's look before and after there. Oh, that is magnificent. Let's take it out to global and see what we've done. Oh, look at that. That shadow's not nearly as bad. It's a lot more natural. We could do the same thing over here. We could sample from this area and just paint lightly over the area. And same thing from here. And maybe one more. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. Let's see what we can do. Oh yeah, just like that. Perfect. Let's take it before and after. Oh, perfectly lighten that up. Here, these are always some issues. Most girls have a little bit of a white there. Sometimes on the eyelid. She doesn't in this case. But we can get in there. We can sample this little white area right next to it. And we can paint right in there. Oh, magic. Oh, so easy. This doesn't look too harsh. This doesn't look too harsh. This looks a little bit harsh right in here. So we will make that brush a little bigger and just blend it. And maybe blend this one down a little bit. Like that. Yeah, there you go. Now let's take a look. Ah, barely even touched it. Worked out perfectly. So let's take care of this nose. So let's sample this area right next to it, and then let's just paint over it. And sample again. Maybe sample from that side. And take care of that, this little white spot right there. We can add that definition back when we do the dodge and burn, especially in the shadows. But for right now, we're just trying to take care of this little issue. And it's going away nicely. Watch that. Look at that. Too easy. Sample another little area right there. And we're just doing one little stroke at a time. Let's take that out. See what we've got there. Oh, look at that. Like it wasn't even there. And then how about this little spot? Couldn't get rid of it with the high frequency layer. Well, we can definitely blend that. Look at that spot. And we'll sample from here and blend it and blend right above it. And some of these darker issues. Let's take a look at how we did there. Probably blend it a little bit more. Sometimes it does give you a little bit of an issue. If you don't like it, you can go to the little eraser button right here, right? Turn that eraser all the way up. Make it about the same size, and you can erase what you just did. Just like that. And then you can go back to your brush tool, make sure the flow's on 2, sample that area again, and start again. Not difficult at all. And let's make that transition a little less harsh. And like right here, sometimes the shadow's a little bit too harsh. You can easily blend that. Just make it a little bit bigger and just right across the middle. Nice. See the difference? What a difference it makes in blending that shadow. Just light stuff here. Not too difficult at all. Sample the area and paint over. Just like so. And then here, same thing. And I'm hitting Option, Sample, Click, left click, and then painting over the area. And you can continue to do that until you've pretty much blended any harshly contrasting spots away, like this guy right here. So easy. We're using the surrounding area that we want to blend in, and then just painting over the blotchy spot. This one's a little bit harsh too. Couldn't take care of it with the with the healing brush tool. We can definitely take care of that with our facial blending technique. There you go. I want to get rid of it all the way. We just kind of want to blend it right in there. And you can definitely see what the difference that makes. Not so bad. Might even be able to go back to this. Take the spot healing brush tool. And, oh, look at that. Like butter, baby. Back to the brush tool. Make sure the flow's on 2. And take this area and paint over it. Sample. There you go. Sample from there. You can really just get in there and do it. Not difficult at all. Even some of the little pore areas that are a little bit dark, you can sample a lighter area near it and paint over it and decrease that contrast. That's what we're doing. That mole, we like it. I like it. You may not like moles, but I believe they give character. And we're just decreasing some of that contrast there. I think we did this spot already, but I can still see it. There you go, and right in here. Maybe make it a brush a little bit smaller. And there you go. The bigger the brush, because we're using this airbrush type, in the middle is where the harshness is going to be. On the outside, it's just going to sort of blend. So that way you're not looking too obvious with your edits. And we can even blend in here. Oh, remember this issue with the reflection on the glasses? See that? I could get rid of most of it with the spot healing brush tool, but now I can just get rid of it all the way. Pretty easy. And just blend away. Blending, 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 blending. Alright. Just about finished with that. I don't mind if it's not exactly perfect. If you're not getting the result you want, you can turn this up maybe to like 30 on the flow, and then you can take an area and start sampling in it. Definitely on the lips, we have to do this a lot. So look at that. Huh? That one's a little bit too harsh there. So let's take this sample and hit it that way. And when you sample a lot, you start to get better results. And we can, something like that. It's pretty good. Let's take it out and take a look here. Oh, this looks outstanding. Let's do a before and after. You can definitely see that we've done our work here. It's gorgeous looking. Got rid of spots, blended this area. It just the facial blending alone is incredible, the power of it. All right, so that's for facial blending. You can use luminosity painting when you do certain things. Like, for example, we have some issues with the lips there. If we go into here, either facial blending or luminosity painting will work on this, but it depends on the lips and where the color started to rub off. So if we leave our brush on 30, we're going to do a little test. We're going to sample this area and try to paint it in with luminosity painting, and that does not seem to be working. That looks terrible, right? So let's go over to the facial blending. Leave it on 30 on the flow. Let's see what we can do with these lips here. It's pretty good. Maybe we'll take that up to 50. See what we can do there. Add a little bit more color. I don't really like how I did that there. Let's take this color and see if we can't paint that in. That looks terrible. And we will remove one of these brushes. And we will start over again. Let's go facial blending. Let's grab this and maybe take that down to about 40. Let's see what we can do there. Okay. And notice we're not bothering the texture really, because we've I don't think I like that too much. We might want to bring this flow down to about 30, 29. See what we can do with this color here. There we go. Sample often. Sample near the area. And you can usually do a pretty good job of editing those lips. It's going to take some trial and error because each one is a little bit different. If you try to match it, many times it doesn't work. So what you have to do is just override. Oh, got a shadow there. You got to override the color. So we have this color, and we're going to override the rest of the color. So we're going to kind of paint over them, but underneath that texture layer. So we still get the texture on those lips. And let's zoom out here. Not take that one back. We will make that brush size smaller. See if I can't make this look good. Make that brush a little bit smaller in there. Alright, now let's take a look. I think maybe I want to blend it a little bit more. So now what I'll do is I'll take the bullet brush down to about 10. And I'll go in here and I'll sample that darker color. And then just sort of blend in the darkness. Darkness! And that's alright for me. Alright. There we go. Alright, so we can erase that if we don't like it. I don't mind it so much. She's got a little bit of rub off here. It's on the texture layer, so there's not too much you can do about it. You can sit there and fight with it by doing the spot healing brush tool, but you will struggle. So what we try to do is we try to just blend it. We'll get back in there actually. I want to show you this. Let's go back to 2, and then we will sample this area and we will sort of blend out the contrast of where the lip was rubbing off. And it can be quite challenging. Maybe take that up to about a 3, 8. Speed this process up a little bit. There we go. So just single brush strokes on 8 seems to do the trick on this one. Remember, each photo is going to be a little bit different. And you see this small, it gets smaller to really get in there and blend them out. So we have a contrast. I think that might be a little bit too high. Let's take it to 5. Let's see what we can. There we go. We don't want to ruin the texture of the lips, but we do want to make it smooth with these very darker, a lot darker contrasty areas. So we have this. I do make sound effects. If you don't like it, too bad. There we go. Alright. And then down there we got something going on down here where I think we can alleviate some of that shadow there. There we go. Okay. I'm okay with that. Lips don't look too bad. Not bad at all. Actually, much better, I think, than they were before. Maybe lighten that up just a little bit. Let's sample a color there, this color, and then let's go over this. Let's just make a big, nice swoop there. There we go. Difficult task on the lips. I think it looks all right though. We'll just leave it like that for now. If we need to come back to it, we can always come back to it. All right, and that is facial blending. So on the next step, we're going to go back up to our actions and we're going to work on those beautiful eyes there.